there, my name is Gudrun from Gudrun Crochet and I am here today with a new knitting vlog. So hello there, if you're new here, thank you so much for coming, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Today, or over the next month or so, I'm going to be knitting a blouse without a pattern. So I'm going to be self-drafting a pattern, and I wanted to make a little vlog about how that goes. So I've had this thought in my mind for quite a while now. Last summer I went shopping with my boyfriend and I tried on a blouse from, I don't even know what store it was anymore. I also don't have a picture of it, but it was this beautiful olive green blouse made with like a linen cotton yarn. It was very thin, very breathable, but the fit was horrible and it was very expensive, so I wasn't gonna buy it if it didn't fit me properly. And I was like, I can knit that myself. And then I was thinking about it, and then I also wanted some other elements in there, and now I decided to finally cast it on. So let's first talk about the yarn that I am going to be using. So I'm going to be using Belle in this beautiful sage green color. The color number is color 10. Belle is a very affordable yarn. It is a mix of 53% cotton, 33% viscose and 14% linen. This is the same composition of yarn as Sandnes Garn Line, except I think this is maybe 50% of the price of Sandnes Garn Line. I have used this yarn before. I really love how it knits up. I love how it feels on my skin. I also love just how it wears over a longer period of time. So I know I like this yarn. I have not used Sandnes Garn Line before, but I have used Sandnes Garn Tin Line. And of course that's a different thickness, but it has the same composition. And I must say Sandnes Garn Tin Line is a little bit softer, but overall I feel like it wears the same and acts pretty much the same. So I'm still gonna go for Belle for its affordability. And it also has a pretty decent color range, although not that extensive, but many of the colors are a bit more of this like pastel-y, which is something that I really like. So for me, it's a good color range. I got 11 balls of this because I want to make a long sleeve blouse and I just wanted to have enough. And this has 120 meters per 50 grams. So I have 1,320 meters, I think. Should be more than enough. I do not have a gauge swatch because I used this yarn before. I know what my gauge is with this. So I went based on that. There's some calculations in an Excel sheet to know how many stitches I want for, like, because I wanted to be kind of boat neck. So I knew like, okay, I want certain length or width here, calculate how many stitches I needed. I want a little saddle shoulder piece. Then I want to go down with increases for the sleeves and then a little bit of a raglan increase on the bottom. Which I think there is a new blouse from Petite Knit that also has that like similar construction. I'll put a picture in here if I can find it. I don't remember which pattern it is. There might be several actually, but I have not knit any of those patterns. So I'm just doing this. I know theoretically how it works, and then I just did some calculations knowing how many stitches and rows I want everywhere for the right dimensions, and hopefully my calculations are correct. I did actually already start yesterday, and no, 2 days ago. And so this is what I have. You can't really tell what it is because of the needles that it's on, but I incorporated a little lace detail, which you can't really tell right now. But personally, I think it looks like a butterfly. I used it before on a knit t-shirt that I made. I had it on the bottom and on the sleeves as a little detail, and I really loved it. So now I also want it around the neck. I also want it again around the sleeves on the bottom and then the body on the bottom. But this is the little saddle shoulder bit, I guess. So I did increases every row on the outside of it. I have that little butterfly there, and I want to continue that butterfly down the sleeves as a little like butterfly trail. I did some short rows, which I don't know if you can tell, but the front is a lot shorter than the back. and I just hope that sits nicely. But on the front I have just finished the last set of butterflies. So I actually did all of my increases for the saddle shoulder parts. So where I was doing increases outside of the stitch markers. Now I'm going to get to the sleeve parts. So I'm going to be doing increases on the inside of the stitch markers. So this is going to get wider. And it gives kind of like a satin sleeve appearance, I guess. I don't know how this construction is called actually. I just know a lot of designers are doing it and I really love the way it looks. And I also like the way you work it up because you're not like attaching stuff. You're just working almost the entire time in the round, except for when you're doing the short rows, of course. So it's a bit like a raglan, but instead of always increasing on both sides, you're either increasing on the body or increasing on the sleeves. But in the last bit, I'm going to be increasing in the sleeves as well to kind of make that shape. But yes, so this is what it looks like now. Very gorgeous. I really hope I did the calculations correctly. But we will see once I finish the entire yoke and I can actually try it on, and then we will see if it's somewhat correct. But yeah, that's my update for now. I will update you guys once I either finish the sleeve increases or even finish just the entire yoke so I can actually properly try it on. But yes, that's it, I guess. Oh, and also officially this stitch is like a flower motif, but I just think it looks like a butterfly, so I'm calling it my butterfly blouse. But that's it for this update. I will update you guys once I have something more to show than just a random circle. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so I said I was gonna update once I split for sleeves and stuff, but I actually think I'm gonna frog what I have. So I don't know how long I've been working on this. I think 2 weeks. I've been working on it on and off, but I stopped a few days ago. So I'll show the idea behind what I wanted to do. So I have this little saddle shoulder and I have the butterfly trail continuing on the sleeve. And it's kind of like, I think it's a satin sleeve, I don't know. And then I started doing some raglan increases here on the bottom. But I think I did make some mistakes in my calculations. So if I put this on, it is too big. So the sleeve starts like where my shoulder already ended. I wanted it to be more like here, so I could still have some growth space with the raglan increases. And now the sleeves are just way too bulky because they start so far out. So I'm gonna frog this. I'm gonna cast on less stitches for the beginning. I'm still gonna do a few saddle rows. Gonna do less, but I'm still gonna do some because I do think it's pretty to have the butterfly start in like a little saddle. And then I'm gonna do raglan increases. So I'm not gonna do like only the sleeve increases here and then the raglan increases. I'm just gonna immediately start doing some raglan increases and hope that works out. If I did the math correctly this time, we will see. But yeah, this is just, it's not what I wanted. Gonna still try and incorporate the butterflies everywhere. I'm probably gonna have 4 butterflies instead of 5 because I'm gonna cast on less stitches, maybe even 3, we will have to see. But yes, I'm gonna have to frog this, which hurts me because this is like a ball and a half of work, I think. So it's quite a bit of work, but I'm just not gonna be happy with how this is gonna fit. I could technically just cast on less stitches and still do the same, but I'm just not fully happy with the way that I'm doing it. So I'm gonna be doing raglan, but first a few saddle rows. I think this is kind of like a, what do you call it? A compound raglan? Something like that? Not sure. But yeah, I'm gonna have to start over and frog first. I will update you guys once I actually do have something to show and made some progress on the new version of this blouse. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so I frogged all of it and started over. And now it is fitting a bit better. So as you can see, I still did a few rows of just increasing on the body every single row, because I wanted that butterfly to be outlined there, and then afterwards I just did your standard raglan increases. It's fitting okay. I think if I were to do this again, I would probably do a section with increasing every other row on the sleeves, but increasing every third row on the body. Because I think in comparison, the sleeves are just a little bit too tight compared to the body, and the body is a bit looser than I would have wanted it to be. I'm not gonna go back and do it all over again. I've had enough. But if I were to do it again, that's what I would change. It's also a little bit tight under the armpit, but I'm hoping that blocking will fix that. And since I'm planning on wearing this as a blouse and not as a sweater, I think it will still be okay, since I won't have extra bulk underneath. I am now working on the body. I am also doing a few decreases here. Not that many, just to give it some slight shaping. And then depending on how long I make it, I might do some shaping outwards again on the bottom. And the sleeves, I think I'm gonna make them relatively straight, or maybe like a slight decrease, but I think relatively straight to keep it a bit airy and flowy. But yeah, I'm going to finish the skein of yarn that I have here on the body, and then I think I'm gonna make a sleeve to see how it fits like with sleeves. Maybe make both sleeves and then finish the body. We will see. One thing, I am on my third skein of this yarn, and I'm actually really confused that I got this much out of only 3 skeins. I bought 11 skeins, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have some left over, so I'm gonna have to see what I do with that, depending on how much that is. But yes, I will update you guys once it's at a point where it's easier to try on, because now it's like barely covering my bust area, so it's a bit difficult to show on camera. But once the body is long enough for that, I will film that, or maybe I will just put in some pictures here. We will see. But yes, I will update you guys once you can more properly see the fit. Okay, so a little bit of a different scenery. I am downstairs because the lighting is a bit better here at this time of day. Anyways, I completely forgot to update you guys on this blouse because I have been studying and just knitting in between, and I forgot that I was even making this video. Anyways, I think last time I had just split for sleeves and did like a little bit on the body. I finished the sleeves. They're done. And I'm now working on the body. I'll try it on for you guys so you can see what it looks like so far. Okay, so this is what the top looks like. I don't really have like the correct t-shirt underneath to show it right now, but just ignore that. And then the sleeves, I made them up to like a bracelet length. For that summery vibe, I wouldn't want a really long sleeve right now. I have the butterfly trail going all the way down, and then just have the lace motif again around the cuff. And I did a few sleeve decreases starting from around the elbow every 10th row, or like every row that I also started a new lace repeat. I then also did decreases. But it has the appearance of a straight sleeve because I didn't do that many decreases in total. Then for the body, you can see I'm on my tiptoes right now. I still have quite some length to do. I have done some waist decreases, which I don't know if you can actually tell. Yeah, you can kind of see it like go like this. I did those because I felt like the body was a bit too oversized. and I didn't want it to be too boxy because it's not that flattering in my opinion. So this is where it's at. I am now at 188 stitches for the body, and I want to do this like detail on the bottom of the body as well, but for that I need a repeat of 10 stitches. So either I have to decrease 8 more stitches, or I have to increase 2 stitches to get to 190. So I can do the butterflies. And I think I'm gonna increase those 2 stitches. Now I do have to check whether both ways will make sure that the butterflies correspond with these ones. I haven't, I'm just thinking about that now, so I have to check that. But I kind of want like these butterflies to sit at the same space here, but I also want that for the back, and then just have the rest spaced in between those. So I'm gonna have to check if that will work out with the 190 stitches as well. But yes, that's my update for now. My next update will be a finished blouse. Okay, so I finished my butterfly blouse well over a week ago now, but I still haven't sewn in the ends or blocked it because I kind of lost motivation on this once I cast her off, but this is what she looks like. So I managed to make the butterflies on the top line up with the butterflies on the bottom. I did end up having to do some more decreases to get down to a stitch count that's divisible by 20, but I do think she looks very pretty right now. I'll try her on real quick. Okay, so I'm now wearing something made with drops belle on top of something with drops belle, but yeah, this is what she looks like. I really like the length of it, but I'm expecting to gain maybe like a centimeter. We will see. So yeah, it's looking pretty funny here right now, but it's down. Now, since I did lose speed on this in terms of like the finishing touches, I thought I would maybe film part of me sewing in the ends. I don't know if I'm gonna block it today or not, because one of my friends also wants to make this, so I'm kind of writing down a pattern, but just like in my size. If that ends up working out, I will probably try to put that on Ravelry, and like, I don't know if I can put a PDF in my project's notes, but we will see, so that other people can also try to make this, but it will not be like a full-on pattern. It won't have sizes and stuff. But she wants to come and try it on, maybe, to see if we need to do some alterations in terms of sizing. So if it's on the blocking mat, then obviously she can't. So I'm gonna have to see when I will see her. But yes, let's go sewing those ends now. Enough procrastinating. Okay, she's done. So she's finally dry. She's fresh off the blocking mat. This is my first time trying her on. So I think the sleeve length and the body length stayed relatively the same. And width-wise, she also barely grew. So this yarn does not change that much with blocking. Still feel like the sleeves, they look straight, but they're not. And the body almost gives like a flared effect. So I only did decreases. I did not do any increases here, but in order for the lace to be visible on the bottom, I feel like I put it outwards a bit. So now it looks like we have a shape like that going on, which I don't mind. I actually think that looks pretty, and it accentuates my natural shape a bit. So I do really like that. But yeah, this is gonna be a summery layering piece. I think if I were to make another sample, I would do quite a few rows less here, because I do have quite a deep underarm right now. But I do think it's okay, and definitely for layering, it's not bad to have a little bit of extra fabric there. but yes. And then the butterflies, I tried to open them up a bit. I think they're fine. I think they could have been opened up a bit more, but I think they look okay. And then around the neckline as well. So yeah, very happy with this. Now I'm gonna go and try and write a pattern for my size to then maybe put on Ravelry. I will put that link in the description if I do end up writing that down, so you guys can look at that if you want to make this as well. But we will see if I get around to doing that. She is a bit warm though. We're in a heat wave right now and I'm sweating with this on, so I'm gonna take it off after filming. But first I have to say goodbye to you guys. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, maybe consider liking and subscribing. That would really, really help me. Let me know if you're also working on a summer knit, maybe also a summer blouse, or if you're also self-drafting something for this summer. And let me know what you guys want to see next. And then happy knitting. Enjoy the summer if you're from the Northern Hemisphere. And bye!